A massive trade is shaking up the league, and the Dallas Cowboys might be building the scariest cornerback duo in the NFL. But here's the real question: are they finally going all in on defense? For years, critics said Dallas couldn't lock down elite receivers when it mattered most. Now, after aggressive moves and 2 major signings, everything could change overnight. Imagine pairing lockdown talent with elite ball skills quarterbacks won't know where to throw. Is this the bold statement move that puts the Cowboys back into true Super Bowl contention, or are expectations about to skyrocket beyond control? One thing is certain: the NFL just got put on notice. If you thought the offseason was going to be quiet, think again, because the Dallas Cowboys have just shaken the entire landscape of the NFL with a massive trade and 2 aggressive signings that could form the scariest cornerback duo in football. This is not a minor roster tweak. This is not depth chart competition. This is a front office sending a message to the entire league that they are done being average on defense, and they are ready to lock down every elite wide receiver that dares to line up across from them. Sources close to the situation indicate Dallas pulled off a blockbuster move to acquire one of the premier shutdown corners in the game, Patrick Surtain II. When you talk about elite man coverage, physicality at the line of scrimmage, and the ability to erase a number 1 receiver for 4 quarters, his name is always at the top of the list. He's long, disciplined, technically sound, and rarely out of position. Quarterbacks don't test him often, and when they do, they usually regret it. Bringing in a player of that caliber immediately transforms your secondary from solid to terrifying. But the Cowboys didn't stop there. In free agency, they went all in and signed another elite cover man in Jalen Johnson. Johnson is coming off some of the most consistent football of his career. He's physical, confident, and thrives in press coverage. What makes him so dangerous is his competitive edge. He plays with swagger, talks with his pads, and brings a level of intensity that spreads across the defense. Pairing him with Surtain gives Dallas 2 corners who can both travel with top receivers, both disrupt timing routes, and both create turnovers. Think about what this means strategically. Defensive coordinators across the league study matchups. They circle games where they can exploit weak secondaries. That just changed. With these 2 on the outside, Dallas can play aggressive single high safety looks. They can bring extra pressure. They can disguise blitzes. They can trust their corners to hold up on islands without constant safety help. That opens up the entire playbook. For years, the narrative around Dallas has been that when they face elite quarterbacks in big moments, their defense eventually cracks. Explosive plays, missed assignments, 3rd and long conversions that break momentum. This move directly attacks that weakness. You don't beat modern offenses without elite coverage. The league is built around passing efficiency, spacing, and speed. If you can't defend it, you don't contend. The Cowboys clearly understand that. Now imagine the matchups. When Dallas lines up against high-powered passing attacks, they can assign Surtain to the opponent's top threat and let Johnson handle the second option. That eliminates comfort for quarterbacks. Progressions speed up. Throws come earlier than planned. That's when mistakes happen. That's when interceptions come in bunches. That's when defensive touchdowns swing playoff games. There's also a psychological factor. Receivers know when they're facing elite coverage. They press. They fight harder at the line. They try to force plays that aren't there. That frustration builds. An entire offense can get thrown off rhythm because 2 corners refuse to give an inch. Financially, this was not a small investment. It required cap maneuvering and likely draft capital to secure the trade. But championship windows don't stay open forever. When you have a franchise quarterback in Dak Prescott in his prime, you don't sit back and hope. You attack weaknesses and build a roster that can compete with the best in January. Another major advantage of this duo is versatility. Both corners can play man and zone. Both can tackle in space. Both are willing run defenders. That matters because offenses will test the edges with screens and perimeter runs to avoid challenging them deep. If your corners don't tackle, coordinators exploit that immediately. Dallas just added 2 players who take pride in shutting that down. Let's talk about turnovers. Championship defenses take the ball away. They don't just force punts, they flip games. Certain instincts and ball skills combined with Johnson's physical style mean tipped passes, contested catches, and tight throwing windows. That's how you generate interceptions. And when your offense gets short fields, the entire dynamic of a game changes. This also impacts the pass rush. Coverage and pass rush work together. If receivers are locked down, quarterbacks hold the ball a split second longer. That split second is everything. Edge rushers get home. Sacks increase. Strip sacks happen. Suddenly, the defense that struggled to close games becomes the unit that slams the door shut. There's depth impact too. Younger corners slide into more comfortable roles. Instead of being forced into number one assignments before they're ready, they can develop properly. Injuries become less catastrophic. Rotation becomes possible without massive drop-off. Fans have been demanding bold moves. This is bold. This is aggressive. This is the type of off-season headline that shifts power rankings overnight. Analysts will debate the cost, question the long-term cap impact, and argue about draft compensation. But one thing is undeniable: on paper, this secondary just became elite. And in today's NFL, elite secondaries are rare. You might have one shutdown corner. You might have a strong nickel. But two true outside lockdown players? That's how you neutralize entire offensive schemes. Offensive coordinators will have to redesign game plans when facing Dallas. Training camp is going to be electric. Iron sharpening iron. Top receivers going up against two of the best every single practice rep. That elevates everyone. It builds toughness. It builds confidence. By the time the regular season kicks off, this defense could be operating at a completely different level. There's also leadership value here. Both players bring experience in big games. They understand film study, preparation, and discipline. That culture shift matters. Young defenders watch how they prepare. They follow the standard that's set. Championship teams are built on accountability, and elite veterans help enforce that. The division implications are massive too. Familiar rivals who relied on passing attacks just lost a major advantage. Games that used to turn into shootouts could become defensive battles. Close divisional matchups often determine playoff seeding. One or two extra wins because of improved pass defense can mean the difference between hosting a playoff game or traveling on the road. Critics will say it's all hype until they see it on the field. That's fair. Talent on paper doesn't guarantee trophies. Chemistry matters. Scheme fit matters. Health matters. But if these two stay healthy and play to their standard, Dallas could field one of the most feared secondaries in football. And let's be honest. Fear changes games. When quarterbacks hesitate, when coordinators get conservative, when offenses shrink their playbooks because the outside is locked down, you control the pace. You dictate terms. That's what elite defenses do. The front office has officially pushed its chips to the center of the table. This isn't a rebuild. This isn't a wait and see year. This is a clear statement that they believe the window is open right now. Surround the offense with a defense that can finish the job. Turn close losses into statement wins. Turn playoff exits into deep runs. As we head toward the season, all eyes will be on this new-look secondary. Can they live up to the hype? Can they become the nightmare matchup every offensive coordinator dreads? If they do, the Cowboys won't just be contenders. They'll be one of the most complete teams in the league. This move has changed expectations. It has changed the conversation. And it may have just changed the balance of power in the NFL. Buckle up, because if this cornerback duo plays the way they're capable of, we're about to witness one of the most dominant defensive tandems the league has seen in years.